Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a video kind of describing the process and the costs related to taking the CPA exam. So again, keep in mind I'm from Illinois, so everything that I am speaking about will be related to my personal experience in Illinois, but definitely check into your state requirements, and even if you're from Illinois, check into the requirements because they may be a little bit different now. So really quickly to start off, I got my CPA requirements, so the 150 hours that Illinois requires, by getting my MBA. So I just wanted to throw that out there because that will definitely affect kind of my timeline, and you'll hear about that as I'm going through. So the first thing that I did, and this was a year or so before I knew I was going to graduate with my MBA, I submitted something called a pre-evaluation application. With that, the real reason why I did that was because I wanted to make sure that before I graduated, I had all the requirements that I would need to sit for the CPA exam. So it's very similar to the next step I'm going to talk about, but I decided to do the pre-evaluation mostly because I just wanted to verify that everything I needed I had before I graduated, just because you don't want to have to like take more classes after you graduate and go to a different school and all of that. So I just wanted to verify that I had everything I needed. So that was in February of 2017. That pre-evaluation application costed $50, and I had to send in my transcripts along with that from like 3 or 4 different schools. So that totaled $23.25. So for the pre-evaluation application, which is totally not a mandatory thing, it's just something that you can do if you're not sure if you have the credits you need. In total, that was $73.25. So then, fast forward to a couple months before I graduated with my MBA, I submitted my domestic evaluation application. And that's the application that you need to submit to actually be able to sit for the CPA exam. It tells you, yes, you have all of the ethics requirements, all of the credit hours, all of the research hours, everything that your state requires. It tells you if you have and says you're approved or not approved. Now for me, since I was still in school and I didn't officially have my degree at that moment, it said upon completion of these courses, you are approved. So I knew as long as I submitted those things and completed those things that I would be in good shape. Now on the website, and the reason why I decided to submit it, I submitted it in March, a few months before I graduated, was because on the website, sorry about that. On the website, it states that it can take 6 to 8 weeks to get your letter back saying whether you're approved or not. It actually took me 5 days to get the approval letter, so definitely submit it in advance, and during busy times it might take 6 to 8 weeks, but in my experience it was less than a week, so pretty good. I was surprised by that. Once you get your letter that says you're approved or you're approved conditionally, then you can go on to submit your initial examination request. So those are that's just an application that's telling them what exams you plan to take within 6 months. So I read a few different places that make sure you only do the couple of exams that you plan on doing within 6 months. So if you plan to do them all within 6 months, do them all. But I think starting out, you may want to do a couple just because you never know what it's going to be like to actually study. It took me a couple times to adjust my schedule to what it was actually going to be like, and I'm glad I just went ahead with 2 because that's kind of what's going to end up happening anyway. Okay, so once I did that, I got a letter from the same representative that sent me my domestic approval letter. And that was actually the next day. So in my experience, they're pretty fast on getting this stuff to you. Like I said, I submitted one for FAR and for audit, and that was $76 for the 2 parts. Now, with that approval, or with that letter that they send you after you submit your initial examination request, it will give you a jurisdiction number and tell you that an association called NASBA will send you a payment coupon, you'll have to make an account through them, and that's really where you get your notice to schedule. So that email from NASBA came the same exact day, and that's exactly how you get your notice to schedule, and that's how you can schedule your exam. Now, when I did my coupon payment, which is the next step after the initial examination request, hopefully this makes sense. I feel like this is just a bunch of like jumps to hoop, or a bunch of hoops to jump through. So hopefully this is making sense. Again, if you guys have questions, let me know, but I'm just kind of going off of my experience. I have it all written down, and it's confusing to me even going through it. So anyway, once you submit your payment coupon, which is through NASBA, then you can go ahead and go through the scheduling website, and they'll give you all the information for that. You won't have to pay anything when you actually schedule your exam, but to submit the payment coupon, it was $416.80. So that's kind of the gist of it. Like I said, there's 4 different steps that you have to jump through just to get to like the actual part where you're scheduling an exam. But once you do that, the next time you would just have to do the same initial examination request or something similar. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they call it for the next round. And then you'll do the other tests that you didn't already schedule. Now, one thing that I did not know about this whole process was that you can actually reschedule exams. So once you go through the I think it's called Prometric site, that's where you're going to be scheduling your exam. Once you do that, obviously you've already paid for the exams. So if you reschedule, and again, this is my experience, so keep that in mind. It might differ by state, or I might have just gotten lucky. I don't know. But within a month, or before your exam, how to phrase this? If you reschedule your exam more than a month before your actual exam date, you can reschedule without paying anything extra. Now, if you get in within that month, they will charge you to reschedule your exam, but it is really nice because you want to make sure that you have that date and that time scheduled. But at the same time, if something goes wrong, you have something big come up and you're not going to be able to meet that deadline and take the test, then it's nice that you have time to reschedule it. Because for me, I changed my schedule. I went from studying 2 chapters a week to 1, and I had to completely move around my tests. So it's nice, and I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out for you guys. Another thing that I wanted to say is that during that time in Illinois, you also have to do a CPA review course and exam. So that's all through the AICPA, and that I did before I started studying for FAR. I wanted to get that out of the way so that once I passed all my tests, that was it. I wouldn't have to stress about anything else, and that costed $169. You guys know, if you've been watching my channel, that I use Becker, and with Becker I paid $4,335.53. So that means, including the future fees that I will have to pay to take exams, assuming that I pass all sections, which fingers crossed, the total cost for the whole CPA exam, all the exams, the whole process will be $5,790.63. So just under $5,800. It's a lot, and there are definitely ways to reduce that cost. Not using Becker is definitely one of them, but I've said this before in the past, my company paid for all of those fees. So one thing to keep in mind, definitely talk to your employer about whether or not they can cover some of those costs, or a lot of times they cover it all. If you need to, find other review courses. If you're paying out of pocket, definitely look into other review courses. I just knew from experience with friends and family who have done the CPA exam that that Becker was one that a lot of people have success with. But again, my company paid for it, so that was kind of not a huge issue for me. The cost thing was not a huge issue. So anyway, guys, that is the whole process. Hopefully I explained it clearly. I feel like, I mean, I've already gone through it and it's still confusing to me. As I was kind of like jotting things down to let you guys know, I'm like, what in the world? Like, I go through this person, I go through this person. My sister's also sitting for the CPA soon. She should know her FAR results a couple days after I find out mine. And her process is completely different, and she's going to Florida. So again, just keep in mind that you will definitely have to check out some of the websites, figure all of that out. But for me, I went strictly through the Illinois Board of Examiners and through NASBA. So those are the two that I had to deal with, that I had correspondence with. But it may differ for you guys depending on which state you're in and all of that. So let me know again if you guys have any questions. I feel bad because I feel like this video probably wasn't very clear, but it's super hard to understand to begin with, let alone trying to talk about it. So again, I hope this helped one of you guys. And yeah, so again, let me know any questions you guys may have. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.